Star Wars Jedi Survivor has made a host of improvements from Jedi Fallen Order, one of which is the massive changes and expansion to its skill tree system. In this video, we're going to look at some of Jedi Survivor's gameplay, but also discuss everything we know about the skill trees at this point, including some of the abilities you can expect to see, the skill reset option, and the secret perk system that really nobody's talking about, and a few other small details in between. So make sure you guys stick around till the end of this video so you don't miss a single thing. Real quick before I get started, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to show your support for the channel. You guys have been showing me so much love lately and I appreciate it so much. So let's see how many of you guys we can get with the notification bell turned on before the next video, and comment Noti Gang down below so I know you've done it. Anyways, let's get into the skill trees. One of the biggest changes in regards to the skill tree since Fallen Order, and I'm sure most of you have seen this already, is the fact that they have taken their original skill tree and expanded it in a big way. In Jedi Fallen Order, the skill tree was a singular tree, but realistically it was broken up into 3 different areas, which was your lightsaber abilities, your health and healing, and your force abilities. In Jedi Survivor, they've taken it to a whole new level, giving us 9 individual skill trees, including 5 trees, 1 for each lightsaber stance, single blade, double blade, dual wield, crossguard, and blaster, but they've also given us 3 trees in relation to our force abilities, and 1 tree giving us options to upgrade our survival abilities like our health, stim potency, and a few more things which I can't talk about until later. Now, before I go into the actual skill trees and breaking down a few of the abilities, there are a couple of other features to mention that are definitely upgrades from Fallen Order. Before I get to that though, one thing that is worth mentioning is something I actually quite liked is when you jump into the skill tree, you can see the name for abilities further ahead, but you can't actually see a description until you've unlocked the previous skill as kind of a prerequisite. So this adds to the mystery of these skills a little bit and not really knowing what you can expect when you get further up the skill tree. However, once you do get a description, you can also preview what the ability will look like before purchasing it in a small preview window, which to me is something that is useful when choosing what to upgrade next. So I really do like that about this skill tree. Now, the next 2 points I want to talk about are extremely interesting, and I only saw 2 people discussing these points, and I will shout them out respectively as we go through. The first thing I learned from watching one of Lunar Squadron's videos is that in Jedi Survivor, the skill trees that you have, you can completely reallocate your skill points if you want to. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, for example, during Jedi Survivor, imagine you spent the first whole few hours unlocking all the abilities in a certain order or for a particular combat stance like the dual sabers. It seems as though you can do a hard reset with your skill points, having them refunded to you, and pick and choose where you'd like them to go after getting all your skill points back, which is really interesting. So basically, if I spend the whole time upgrading my dual sabers and then I do a skill point reset, I can then potentially put all of those skill points into the single bladed lightsaber, which to be honest, once we unlock crossguard or the blaster stance is probably what most of us are going to do. From what Lunar Squadron said, you can get 1 free refund of all skill points and reallocate them to build out Cal however you want. And then after you've used your free skill reset, you can still reset your skills by spending 1 skill point following this. I think this is a really cool feature, and I am curious to see whether we can spend the first part of the game leveling up like a dual wield or a single bladed saber. Then when we do unlock that crossguard or blaster stance that everyone's so excited to see, we can just reset all skill points and max out the skill tree for the new stance that we just unlocked. That way we get a really good look at everything we need to know for those new skill trees. And to be honest, that's something as a content creator that has me foaming at the mouth because I would love to see what we can do with crossguard and blaster stance. But something to think about anyway. The next feature of these skill trees I wanted to talk about were these secret perks that almost nobody's talking about either. With this one, I have to give a shout out to the legend Sammy Boy for pointing this out in his recent video, which I will link below as well. In the video, Sammy talks about these secret perks you can unlock throughout the game. He mentioned that a perk slot is available from pretty much when we started our playtest, which was like an hour into the game, and he even said he unlocked a second slot not long after that. So what do these perks do? Well, basically they're upgrades to Cal on top of the skill tree. He said that similar to God of War, you can potentially have like upgraded damage when a certain perk was equipped, or the one that Sammy said he could remember from Survivor is that he had a longer blocking stamina when that perk was equipped, but he did also mention that perks are likely to have levels to them as well, which the increased blocking stamina would have been like a basic low level perk, but it's yet to be seen what some of the stronger perks could look like. For those wondering how to unlock these perks, it seems as though they are rewards for exploring the map, doing puzzle rooms, or fighting side boss enemies, and the rewards for these events could be a new perk. So I'm curious to see what kind of perks they are, what they can do, and how strong they can actually make Cal. Going into the skill tree itself a little bit, we do get a look at a few things that are worth mentioning. However, I can only talk about what is in this footage provided to us and not the further details that I was able to play myself at the event. So the first two skills we get a look at in this footage is Gathering Tempest, which is a double-bladed lightsaber move and deals fast strikes towards an enemy. But we also get a look at Backstep Slash, Focus Parry, and Split Reflection for the dual wield saber. Now, these all do have descriptions which you can see, and some of them do get a little demonstration in the footage, but they are really cool, and when combining these with other things in gameplay, they look absolutely incredible. Now, one other thing here I did want to mention in regards to these skills is when purchasing them, you can see below not only how much the skill points would cost to purchase it, but whether or not it will use the force when being activated. So I think this is a really cool feature. It's something to keep in mind that if you haven't leveled up your force a lot, you could potentially see yourself draining it when using these abilities. So if you want to save it for things like your force push and pull, then potentially don't upgrade the ones that require force usage. Now, obviously, once I get my hands on the full game and I am able to talk about more of what I saw at the preview event, I will. But for now, I hope this kind of gives you a little bit of insight into what you can expect from the different skill trees in Jedi Survivor. It really is bigger and better in every way, and I really am excited to see just how powerful Cal can become when we start to max out these skill trees, and obviously as well when we get a look at that crossguard and blaster stance. I have seen a little bit of gameplay on the blaster stance, and trust me, it looks incredible. So once we get into the game and we can finally showcase that and see what it can do, you guys are going to be absolutely blown away, and I have no hesitation in saying that whatsoever. At the preview event, when we saw the blaster gameplay, the crowd was literally cheering at some of the abilities that Cal had with the blaster. So I can't wait for you guys all to see it, and hopefully you have the same reaction that we did as Star Wars fans at the event. But with that said, I'm going to get out of here. I will see you all tomorrow with another video. Thank you for clicking on another one, and may the force be with you always.